Okay guys, we are back again with another estate sale buying adventure, and man did we buy a lot. So I'm going to run through all of this with you guys, but just keep in your mind this was all $300, and I think one portion of this is going to pay for everything, but never really know until we're all done. So I'll run through everything that I bought and tell you why I bought it, I guess, and you guys be the judge. So the first thing we have here is a vintage candle set with the lamplighter fluid, and it's probably from the mid-90s, but I just picked it up because we could actually probably use it outside, so that's probably going to end up on the patio. In here we have some French onion soup bowls, still new in the package. These are tablecloths, vintage ones from, I believe that's from Moco. They were 50 cents. This one's plastic, but this one's a nice one. This was from Eaton's, and it is a fairly large tablecloth, new old stock, and it's Christmas themed. Probably from the 60s or 70s, so that will do well on eBay or Marketplace. Coming down here we have a Beefeater dry gin clock. That should probably get around 50. And then these are some of the smaller things that I picked up just because they were probably going to be thrown out if I didn't grab them. But there's a vintage game in a bag, just a vintage coloring book. And this is pretty different. The Teen 10 Commandments. All of the things we didn't follow when we were teens. So I had to grab that. Vintage Soulmate sewing machine in the box. And it's battery operated, it looks like, so it's probably from the 70s. Family photo album. And then some wood chisels. And I've done fairly well with wood chisels, depending on the name. So I'll have to look these up on eBay and see what they go for. But yeah, especially the full set like that, like a carving set, like easy to ship, and probably get around 50 to 60 for them, especially when they're new old stock, like haven't been used. Again, we got a Canadian Tire magazine, the Canadian Tire catalog, 1986, 2 years after I was born. So I always have to grab these when I find them. I don't know why. I don't know if they're ever going to sell, but I had to grab it. Vintage Black & Decker teapot, electric teapot. This was kind of interesting. The guests are the Who. It's like a fan club. So the Who magazine, number 16, March of '83. Yeah, so there's a bunch of these from the band, and so whoever owned the home must have been a fan. But that's pretty different. Next we have your grandma's blanket, still in the bag. So new old stock blanket. We came across some jadeite, which I always have to pick up jadeite when I find it. So just a couple pieces, but they don't really have a name on the bottom. There's this really old canning jar. I've never really seen a screw top lid like that, so I thought that was pretty cool. Another vintage Rubens planter. Under here we have something really good. It is uranium glass. So uranium glass juicer, and that'll probably just go in the cabinet with all the other uranium glass. And then here's some other stuff that again I just picked up because it was probably going to be thrown out, but vintage mess kit still in the box, hand grips, skipping rope, and then this vintage still sealed puzzle. And over here we found a whole bunch of cross stitching, like not just one or two, there's probably like 20 or 25 in here. So yeah, these can do very well on eBay, depending on the subject matter. Like the Christmas stuff is fairly desirable. like the Christmas pillow. Yeah, there's a whole bunch in here. Different styles and everything. So next I'll show you the amazing find for today. This was in a box buried in a closet, and it is a massive collection of buttons, and not just any buttons. So a lot of these are vintage original band buttons from like the 70s and 80s. Like we got Led Zeppelin, we got the Doors, AC/DC, David Bowie, like all the crazy vintage bands, Ozzy. And I thought they were they might have been new, but then I started looking at the backs of them, and there's all these ones as well that are in like cases. But I started looking at the backs, and like most of them are old. So yeah, they're definitely original, but look at how many there are. There's just so many of them, and they're all vintage bands. So I might just have to like just sell them piece by piece and like see how they do. Like I might be able to get like $10 to $20 for each one of them. So that's why I'm thinking like I'm just gonna, they don't take up very much room and they're easy to ship. So this is something I can just like, you know, kind of list on eBay as I have the time, and then just ship as they come up. And it's not going to take very much for shipping. Like I'll probably charge like $5 or $10 for shipping, and in most cases it won't cost more than $1 for shipping, but some cases in the States it costs a little bit more. But yeah, all these buttons. Then we have we'll continue on here. We got vintage Santa Claus and Frosty. And I had to pick that up because it was probably going to end up in the garbage, so got to pick up any old Christmas stuff I can find. And then this swung glass swan, and then 3 vintage cookbooks. And then over here we have an old Scouts hat, a whole bunch of vintage mid-century glassware, and I think there's a couple more. I'm gonna have to grab when I'm there, but yeah, those are really nice. Like a full set. There's probably like 20 of them in there. And then the Tim Hortons mug, vintage one, and then a couple coffee mugs here. One's Aquarius and one's Cancer, I believe. And then this was kind of neat. Inlaid wood pitcher in the frame. Really cool design. It looks like almost modernist in the wilderness, so I had to grab that. That's kind of cool. And then there's this Atlas beer sign. There's this Nelson's map, but unfortunately half of it is just water damage, so I don't know if it'll even sell, but again, I had to grab it just in case it was going to be thrown out. We got Fisherman's Friends, and then a couple old books here. And this was kind of neat, an antique sewing kit. Really cool old graphics on there. Egg-eyed sharps, the crystal. Really cool. I'd say almost Victorian era. And last but not least, well, there probably is more, but yeah, RCA Victrola record player. And I'm gonna have to clean this up and test it and see if it will work. But yeah, I think we did really well. So for everything here, we paid $300. Oh, and there's one more big thing right here. So there's a whole bunch of Crocs, and then like almost none of them had any writing on them except for this one. So it's an Imperial 10 gallon Delta potteries, and a lot of the pottery had like chips and cracks and stuff, and this one was solid. So I think we'll do really well on this one. And I might, when I go back, I'm gonna start doing some work clearing the garage and everything, so I'll probably pick up a few more. And then last but not least, we have Aunt Jemima. Gotta pick up Aunt Jemima when you find her. And then Alte's Golden Lager beer. That's a piggy bank. beehive tin, and then just what are they calling this? I think they called it a pumpkin totem pole, and it was at Kmart back in the 90s for $12.99. So that's pretty cool. And then we got Quaker Oats, and I think that's it. So yeah, we are moving up in the world. All of this was $300. And again, I think these buttons selling individually, I could probably make over $1,000 just based on the bands and all the cool names. Like, really cool. So yeah, that's it for now, guys. Stay tuned as I get stuff listed, and we're gonna see how much things sell for, and I'll give you guys an update of our money totals. But yeah, that's it for now. We'll talk to you in a little. Okay guys, I just realized I missed a couple different things here. So I put these on the back of the car so Jillian could have a look at them. But this was really cool. This vintage Christmas bubble lamp, still in the package. Looks like it was from Kmart, and they paid $7.67. We found some more vintage baseball memorabilia from the 50s. This is a vintage photo album. It looks like it has something in it. More baseball stuff. More baseball stuff. Vintage canteen, vintage hat, and then this was the one I wanted to show Jillian. So I thought it was new, and then I looked at this paper, and it's a Christmas card holder. Looks very mid-century. Ideal Manufacturing Co. So Oskaloosa, Iowa. I thought that was really neat, and it still had the original packaging. So I believe it's probably still all there. But yeah, that was one thing that I wanted to show Jillian, and I completely forgot. Okay, I think that's it this time, guys. We'll see you in a little bit.